look at the question together. Now, if P varies inversely as the square of Q and P is 8 when Q is 4, find Q when P is 32. Now, to solve this problem, the first thing we need to do is to express that statement mathematically. So how do we do that? So we are going to follow it one after the other. Let's do it together. Now, we have if P, this is P, varies. What is the symbol of variation? This is it. Varies inversely. Inversely means reciprocal, 1 over the next statement. Okay, inversely, I write 1 over as the square of Q. Square of Q. Square of Q is the same thing as Q square. Okay, so now let me take it again. If P varies inversely 1 over as the square of Q. This is the square of Q. So once you're able to establish this, you change this variation to an equation. So we have then P will be equals to K over Q square, where K is a constant. So whenever you are changing a variation to an equation, you have to introduce a proportionality constant. So you just put the constant here. All right. So from here, we get the value of the constant K. So we substitute the value of P given in the question, which is 8, and that of Q, which is 4. We substitute it here, so we get our K. Now let's do that. So we have 8 equals to K all over Q. Q is 4. That's 4 square. So from here, you cross multiply. You have K equals to 8 times 4 square. So K will give you what? Now, this is 16. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 8, that's 128. So we have 128. So that's our proportionality constant. So you can now have a relationship between P and Q. So just replace this constant with 128. So I can now write that P equals to, I'm writing this statement here. P equals to Q. What is our Q? What is our K rather? What's our K? Our K is 128. So we have 128 all over Q square. Now what we have here now is what we call the connecting formula. This is the connecting formula. Now that will help us now to get the value of Q. So we just the value of Q. We just substitute the value of P into this equation. Now when you look at it, P is 32. So substitute 32. We have 32 equals to 128 all over Q square. Now from here, what do? You do cross multiplication. So we have 32 Q square equals to 128. So you divide both sides by the coefficient of what you are looking for, which is Q square. The coefficient of Q that I'm looking for is 32. So I'll divide both sides by 32. If I do that, I'll be having Q square equals to 128 over 32. Now, the question now is, what is 128 divided by 32? How many 32 will I see in 128? That's 4. 4. So from here, you take square root of both sides. So you take square root of both sides, or we can look at it this way. When we have a square here, when it comes here, it's just like we are moving this 2. We are moving it here. When it comes here, it becomes square root. But what we are actually doing is that we are taking square roots of both sides. So we can have it as Q equals to square root of 4. So we don't have the square here now has gone. It has turned to square root at this side here. So from here you can now get your Q. So Q will now be what? That's 2. So this is going to be the answer